A statewide leader in home runs and RBIs, and one more for good measure. Payge Armendariz, the most efficient hitter in softball, sits down with the scoreboard, but not just her. We are hanging out with George Murphy, the head coach of the perennial and always strong Park City High School boys and girls golf team. All that coming up next on the Scoreboard. Hey, what is going on, everyone? Welcome on into the Scoreboard. I'm your host, Brigham Harris, for today's Tuesday episode. It is March 29th. We are getting closer and closer to the flowers budding, the warm season really starting to make its way into the valley. We're very, very stoked about it. Sadly, though, that means that we're going to lose that beautiful snow on the ground. We're going to say goodbye to all of our winter sports. But as sports does come full circle, we cannot tell you how excited we are about state championships that are getting closer and closer. We've got lacrosse, boys soccer, baseball, softball, and so many talented teams here in the Wasatch back that we are definitely going to be seeing at least in state tournaments, and again, possibly in those state final, semifinal matchups. May is just around the corner, and we are all here for it. But let's talk a little bit about it. Our teams here in the Wasatch back this week in sports. Let's dive right in. Starting off with Park City. Let's talk a little bit about boys soccer. They have been playing absolutely stellar. They've got a pretty tough game this week, and we're going to continue to cover them. But not just them. PC baseball plays on Friday at home against Highland. We are going to be at that game, Blake and I, but not just that. We've got softball for you out of Park City High School. Again, very, very strong program out of Park City. We're not really seeing many spring teams struggle. We are even seeing records being broken when it comes to the track team. Jesse Helton, who we got to catch up with yesterday, just re-broke another record at Park City High School. So really over there for the Miners, everything is firing on all cylinders. We've even got hockey, who played outstanding at the national tournament. We've got track and field. We've got boys soccer. We've got softball, baseball. Very solid, very stacked teams over at Park City, and we are proud to be a part of that. And not just them, though. We've got a handful of other teams to cover. So let's head down to Heber City now and talk a little bit about Wasatch High School. Unfortunately, the boys team conceded their first loss, the boys soccer team that is, the returning 5A state champions, gave up their first loss in a very, very long time. This is a very star-studded team, lots of returning seniors, and Jared Hendry, the head coach, who's been there for almost a decade now, an incredible leader, but this team just did not do enough to get past a foe just a few days ago. A 1-0 loss is their first loss of the season, but they have a chance at redemption. That is going to be this afternoon, or earlier today, I guess, as we are now in the late afternoon of Tuesday. So we are going to be excited to talk to them and find out a little bit more about what makes that program so good. We are going to be seeing a lot more of them, but not just them. Softball as well had a very untimely loss. We got to catch up with Payge Armendariz after the loss. She went yard, of course. We're actually going to be hearing from her later on in the show, but unfortunately the Wasps did drop their first game of the season. They now move to 7-1. Still one of the top teams in 5A, if not the state. They have Andrea Sweat. They have obviously Payge Armendariz, an incredibly talented cast down there in Heber, and we are excited to continue to cover them. Let's talk a little bit now about over in Camas. We've got South Summit High School. Very talented teams over there as well, especially in Indy Jones, one of the leaders for the softball team. They're currently sitting at a 4-loss record, but other than that, they have been powering through and just demolishing a lot of teams that they've faced. They went down to Dixie, played in a tournament down there, and they're still a very prominent team. Indy Jones leading the state with the home runs, right there neck and neck with Payge Armendariz. It's difficult to say who's at the top because both of them seem to go yard at least once every 2 games, and so that stat is always changing. But also Boys baseball, they're going to be facing off against a couple of opponents this week, as well as boys soccer. So very talented teams out there. Not a lot of lacrosse to talk about. I know I didn't mention much about PC and Wasatch lacrosse, but we are going to be seeing that rivalry take place here very soon. Next week, PC versus Wasatch boys lacrosse. We are going to be at that game and very stoked to cover that. But as I was saying, Camas, Colville, those 3A schools and 2A schools do not have the sanctioned lacrosse, so we're sticking with softball, baseball, and boys soccer. Now heading up to Colville, let's talk a little bit about that. They have been struggling a little bit lately. Boys soccer, not just them, but also the softball team. Baseball has a couple of wins, but it's mainly struggles right now in Colville. We are hoping to get up there very soon, talk with some head coaches and some players for those talented teams. Hopefully they can turn things around as we do get closer and closer to May, which, as we all know, is the culminating month for spring sports in the state of Utah. That's going to do it for this week in sports. Don't go anywhere. We've got a whole lot coming up on today's show in the Scoreboard. We are talking with Payge Armendariz, the #1 hitter in the state of Utah. And guess what? She added one more to her tally. We'll tell you all about it coming up next.
The Scoreboard is proudly sponsored by Andrea Cox Mortgage. Welcome to First Rate Mortgage.
My name's James, and I've been in the market for mortgages several times over the years, so I've gone through the process with different people. And when I met Andrea, she explained to me why my current loans were subpar and how she could get better loans with better rates.
If I had to describe Andrea in one word, I think I would use the word passionate. She is very passionate about what she does and getting the right solutions for her clients, and that made her an absolute pleasure to work with.
Hi, I'm Andrea Cox. You can reach me at 435-631-9262. Call me, text me, or you can reach me at my website, andreacoxmortgage.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back into the Scoreboard. I'm your host, Brigham Harris. On this Tuesday episode, we are talking with Payge Armendariz, one of the most talented softball players in the state of Utah. She is a senior. She's leading the state with home runs per game, almost 1 home run per game. We're going to get all into that when we sit down and hang out with Payge Armendariz right here on the Scoreboard right now. Hey everyone, Brigham Harris here for the Scoreboard. Right now we are hanging out with Payge Armendariz. Payge, we have been trying to talk to you for weeks now because, and I'm just going to give our audience this stat line, you are the most common home run hitter in the state of Utah. You have the most RBIs out of anyone in the state of Utah, averaging more than 3 RBIs a game. I know I'm embarrassing you a little bit, but tell me just a little bit about this start to the season, your senior season.
I just came out like it's my last time, just have fun. Hit a ball.
Yeah?
Yeah, pretty much.
How do you feel like the season has started? I mean, did you come in having this high of expectations for yourself?
Not really. I was a little nervous. We have 5 seniors that's starting, but the other half, they're really young, and they haven't played varsity much. So we were a little nervous, but we're kicking it in gear, for sure.
You guys are definitely a really, really talented team. I'd say one of the most talented in the state right now, and you added to your home run count today, a home game versus Skyridge. Tell me just a little bit about that feeling when you connected with the ball. Did you know it was gone?
I got to be honest, I never know they're going over. I don't want to go with that mindset, but it felt really good. We needed to get a little rally going, so happy I did it.
Yeah. Well, you've got 7 home runs in 8 games. Like I said, you're averaging almost 1 home run a game. So you have the highest home run hitting percentage in the state of Utah. When are you going to crank 2 out and finally even it out so you have 10 in 10 games?
Oh, hopefully next game.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll, we wouldn't be surprised to see anything like that. Today was a little bit of a misstep. You guys did fall to a Skyridge team. You guys were 7-0 going into this game. What was the message before stepping onto the diamond today?
Kind of don't go in with too big of a head. Like, we don't want to be like, oh, we're 7-0. Like, this is easy. We're going to roll any team. We wanted to stay humble and just try our best. And, well, we saw how that happened. But.
Well, it was a close game throughout the entire time. They did score 3 runs later on in the game. How did you feel the game was going when it was a close game? Was it, a tough pitching battle? Tell me about what your guys' chatter was.
We had kind of a slow start hitting wise. And so, but we kept the energy up and we tried to just go in, get hits, and run batters in.
Yeah. Well, sadly, like I said, they did start to pull away towards the end of the game. Was the hitting just not on for you guys today, or was it a really tough pitcher? I mean, what was the defense like?
I don't know. Our hitting, we just didn't go in with the right mindset, I think. Like, we just had a few bad pitches behind the plate. Never blamed the umpire, but it was a little rough. Yeah. And so we just kind of got down on ourselves when we should have just let it go.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Good defense, by the way. I wanted to ask you about that, too. You pitch, but you're also a first baseman. You got a little bit of action, actually, today, both not only in the circle but at first base. What do you prefer? Do you like playing in the infield, or do you like pitching?
First base, 100%.
Really?
I love grounders. They're
okay.
the best.
Nice. Yeah, me too. I'm really short, so I was a second baseman, so that was my style. Tell me just a little bit about some goals you might have for the rest of the year. Like I said, #1 hitting percentage in the state, #1 RBIs in the entire state of Utah. What's left for you?
Just keep momentum going. Don't get too big of myself. Just hit the ball hard, line drives.
You guys played in the state semifinals last year. What are some team goals you might have? Is it make it to the state championship? Is it win a state championship? What do you guys talk about?
We haven't talked about goals much, but basically just try our best in state. Do our best, see how far we can get.
Nice. Well, last question. That was quite a long pep talk after the game. What did your coaches tell you after the loss?
Not to get down on ourselves, leave the bad with that team. We don't want to leave it on this field because it's our home field, but don't think too bad of ourselves. Just think about the next game.
Yeah. Well, again, we're super excited to cover you and the rest of Wasatch softball for the rest of the season. Again, Payge Armendariz, the #1 hitter in the state of Utah. We appreciate you taking the time.
Right. Thank you.
0.9 home runs per game, almost averaging 1 home run per game, 1 dinger in 1 game. Payge Armendariz is one of the best hitters in the state of Utah. We look forward to covering her and the rest of the Wasps, led by Morgan Smith down there in Heber City. Again, thank you for the time, and we look forward to more games out of the Wasps. Now, when we come back on the scoreboard, we are catching up with one of the head coaches for one of the most perennial golf clubs in the entire state of Utah. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hi guys, I'm Janet the Dairy King. We're famous here for our ice cream. We have 84 different kinds of shapes. We also have some amazing food. So come and try our chicken strips, our fish and chips dinners, our burgers, our fries, our sweet potato fries. Oh my gosh, we've got so much. Once you go over to the Heber Valley Railroad and ride their train, then of course you have to come here and see all of our trains. Our family's serving your family since 1946. We hope to see you soon here at the Dairy King.
Hey guys, welcome back into the scoreboard. I am your host, Brigham Harris, for today's Tuesday episode. We got to catch up with Payge Armendariz just a few minutes ago, the leading home run hitter for the state of Utah, as well as over 30 RBIs in just 8 games. Absolutely killing it down there in Heber. But for now, we are going to take things here a little bit more local. Park City High School head coach George Murphy of the boys and girls golf programs. Again, a handful of state championships just about every single year for Coach Murphy. He is one of the most successful coaches in the area, and right now we're going to send it over to Blake. He is sitting down with Coach George Murphy.
Hey everyone, Blake O'Rulian here alongside head coach of Park City boys and girls golf team, George Murphy. George, thank you so much for sitting with us today.
You bet. Nice to be here.
It's so great to have you here. We're so glad to be able to meet you. I mean, we're sitting right behind a plethora of state championships, and you have been a very successful coach over your time here. You're going into now your 14th season now as the head coach. How are you feeling right now going into this season?
Older and just kind of, well, with the girls golf, with spring, just kind of the same things that all the sports, spring sports are dealing with is weather and just trying to get, decent practice times, decent practice sessions with the girls, but we're a little smaller as far as our team and numbers wise this year, but we lost a bunch of seniors from last year's team, but we're looking forward to it. We've already had our first match, so kind of just let's get going.
Yeah, I mean, can you tell us a little bit about how that first match went? We reached out to you a couple weeks ago, and you said, hey, I would really like to talk to you guys after we have a couple competitions under our belt. So could you tell us a little bit how these first couple of competitions have been going, these couple matches?
Sure. We just kind of wanted to, well, basically just like, hey, let's see what we have and what we're up against too with our region and the other teams. We got every match we go to, it has like all 7 teams show up, and so you know, a couple of days ago it was about 35 degrees. We're hoping it's going to be decent weather, but it could have been canceled. But it was cold. But they finished 3rd, which was really strong considering that we, you know, only have a couple of, you know, like 3 kids back that really played any varsity last year, and so just being so kind of inexperienced and not really knowing what to expect, they played pretty well, and some of the new girls that came in added to that, and so it was a good first tournament, like just to put ourselves at least, you know, like, hey, we're within striking distance of, you know, maybe moving up a little bit. Just depends on how the season goes, and I guess we'll take it from there.
How many current varsity girls and boys golf players do you have right now, and how many do you typically have? I'm just curious about the difference.
Boys program, we've been able to have like a JV program, and Jenny McDougall, she takes our JV program, and she's got about 12 to 14 kids. On the varsity, we have usually 12 to 14, so you know, close to 24 to 28 kids in the program for boys. Girls, we have right now 12. Okay. And so that's JV and varsity. So right now we have 7 varsity players and about 5 JV players for the girls team. And so it's just, but it goes up and down from year to year. And so but a little worried. I have one freshman on the team this year, and she is injured and she can't play this season. So we're, you know, building for the future. We have a lot of juniors and sophomores. I've got one senior, the rest are juniors and sophomores. So we, you know, the depth, you know, at least for the next year or two, we got some kids coming back. But looking at down the road, we're trying to, you know, we'd love to have with boys program too on the varsity team, at least 1 to 2 varsity players, and then as the years go by, the other players kind of work into that.
I'm curious, I hope this doesn't sound bad, but what do you think maybe is the drop-off, considering how good this team has been for so long? What do you think might be the drop-off in terms of the interest in people competing in golf?
I don't know. I think just it's been like, I mean, we haven't been huge in numbers. Actually, with boys, we've kind of increased in the number of kids wanting to participate in like a JV program. But it's different year to year. You get some kids that come into high school, they've already been playing tournament golf around the state, some kids around the country. And so that's been a big help for us over the years with our program and just quality kids. And I'm not saying the kids aren't quality right now, but it's just maybe that experience, like playing nationally. A lot of them are like, most of our boys playing, state tournaments, or local tournaments with Utah Junior Golf Association, and but our girls, we can't, we've kind of have 1 to 2 each year that are doing that, and that makes it a little bit tougher to keep, us at a really high competitive level with some other teams out there that, get 4, 5, 6 girls in these summer tournaments and off-season tournaments that they're really pushing it.
Well, 11 state championships in 13 years, and I got to tell you, head coach George Murphy is not done yet. We're going to catch up a little bit more with him when we come back.
Beautiful sandy beaches and lush tropical gardens make San Diego the perfect destination for your next luxury getaway. I'm Stephanie J. This is the Opulent Minute.
This home has amazing charm and style. You'll feel refreshed in this La Jolla Shores beauty.
I'm here with Lauren, the owner of Pop-Up Picnic Co. Tell us about the services you offer.
We're a luxury picnic service. Our claim to fame is one-stop picnic experience that we bring throughout San Diego.
Book Pop-Up Picnic Co. through our concierge services page on opulentvacations.com.
The open concept living and dining room easily flow to a comfortable and inviting deck. The enclosed and spacious yard provide plenty of room for outdoor entertainment.
With easy access to some of the best shopping and dining San Diego has to offer.
Whether it's relaxing on the property or enjoying fun activities at the beach, the Shores Retreat La Jolla has something for everyone. Thanks for watching the Opulent Minute.
Book now at opulentvacations.com.
Hey guys, welcome back into the Scoreboard. I'm your host, Brigham Harris. On this Tuesday episode, we're talking softball, we're talking golf, and we're going to send things right back over to our field reporter, Blake O'Rulian, who got to catch up with head coach George Murphy.
With all these state champions behind us, could you tell the audience a little bit about the success, the 13 years and things like that?
For the last 13 years, for our boys program, they took first place 11 years in a row. And then after that, it was we lost by 5 strokes going into 2019 season, and then 2020. They shot 14 under at state, and so we played really well, but just got outplayed a little bit by a really stacked Skyline team who shot 34 under par as a team. And so it's been a great run. Boys, we just kind of. We just didn't have the depth and the experience, but we're building that back, and we've got kids out there motivated to do it next year. Our girls season right now, same thing. I've got a couple girls that have been playing tournaments, and then we're trying to get the other girls on board, kind of follow that same thing, because we've had quite a bit of depth with our girls program over the last, I'd say, 7 or 8 years, and then they saw some, we saw some really good success and just. Quality kids, but competitive and tournament ready kids. And so going into a season, especially with spring up here in the northern, because we kind of, with the southern schools in St. George and with what we deal with, they're coming in, and it's like this last week, it's about like first time that some of these girls played 18 holes, was at their first tournament. And so it takes a little adjustment to get used to that, but we've had some great success, and hopefully we keep building on that, and both programs to succeed as we go.
What's the adjustment been like, changing from a program that is almost, you mentioned before we turned on the cameras, a lot of these southern Utah schools go, how the heck are they doing so well? They live up in the north, they ski, they snowboard all winter, and then they come here in the spring and they do so well. What's the adjustment been like, kind of changing, not say the culture, but maybe the what's been going on over in the past couple of years in terms of the winning or the dominance, I would say?
Well, it's once you set that precedent and that expectation's there, and the older kids instill that in the younger players, and they see the work ethic, what goes into it. And it's kind of been, and maybe we need to get back to it again, reiterate it, but it's like, hey, you work harder than anyone else in the state. Outwork them, and put the time into it. If you really love this sport and it's what you want to do, let's do it. The issue is with, sometimes with girls, with my girls team, I've got skiers on there. I've got, they're on the ski teams. They're on volleyball teams. They're on soccer teams, and it's just like I have to share a little bit, that's their passion. Some of them, it's not all golf, and I have to, kind of understand that's what that's what we're working with, but we're trying to set that expectation again.
Last question for me. I'm just so curious. How do these golf kids train, if they do train year round, or is it really they just step in and then they're able to have the facilities once it does warm up?
They've a lot of these kids, boys, they've got some private instruction that they do in the off season, and sometimes and during season, but they just they have to do everything they can, but a lot of times it's indoors during the winter. Try and find a simulator, get some reps in, but just everything they can. They are at a disadvantage not being able to play year round, and I see that, and they know that. But there's 5-month chunk there that's like, it's tough. Trying to get out there, but if they're motivated, they want it. They will make it work, and they'll find a way. And a lot of them in the wintertime, they'll go down to southern tournaments and keep playing and keep just so they stay with it and stay fresh.
Well, it sounds like a wonderful program. We're very excited to continue to cover it on the Scoreboard. Coach, thank you so much for sitting down with us. We appreciate it.
Okay.
Again, Coach, thank you so much for the time. We wish you the best of luck. We are in the swing, no pun intended, of golf season here. Springtime is upon us, and that means the beautiful golf courses of Park City are going to be well used by this incredibly talented program. again, coached by head coach George Murphy. We look forward to covering the golf team for the rest of the season. Now, when we come back, we're going to be wrapping up the show, talking a little bit about what you have to expect on the scoreboard for these next couple of weeks. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
When we mentor our youth to be good stewards of the earth, anything is possible. And during the Subaru Share the Love event, Mark Miller Subaru is planting seeds of endless possibilities.
Hi, Josh.
Hey, Little, are you ready for our tradition?
Yes.
Awesome, let's go. So what'd you learn in school this week?
Did you know more people have been to the moon than to the bottom of the ocean?
I didn't know that. That's so cool.
When this tree and I is as big as you, it will give us clean air.
Join Mark Miller Subaru in supporting our community during the Subaru Share the Love event, happening now. Learn more at markmillersubaru.com.
Hey guys, welcome back into this Tuesday episode of The Scoreboard. I'm your host, Brigham Harris. Now to wrap things up, let's talk a little bit about what we just saw today. Payge Armendariz currently hitting 3.1 RBIs per game. That is leading the state of Utah, absolutely killing it at the plate for the Wasps down there in Hebron. We got to catch up a little bit with her about what she has to expect for the rest of the season, what she's enjoyed so far about her senior season, being the state's #1 home run and RBI hitter. But not just that, we talked to George Murphy. Blake O'Reilly got to catch up with the head coach of Park City High School boys and girls golf, one of the more perennial programs in the state of Utah when it comes to the sport. And guess what? 11 state titles in 13 years, and I gotta believe that Coach Murphy is not done just yet. So there you have it, this episode on The Scoreboard. We really appreciate all those who tuned in, all those who we got to sit down and chat with. Coming up next on The Scoreboard, we have got so much more to talk about. We've got lacrosse coming your way. We have got more golf, more boys soccer, baseball. We're talking with a record breaker in Jesse Helton over at Park City High School. The action does not stop here. In fact, we are just going to get more and more into it when it comes to spring sports here in the Wasatch Back. And I hope you're as excited for it as we are here on The Scoreboard. Again, you can always check us out on PCTV every single Tuesday and every single Friday. That's at 6 and then again at 10 p.m. Or you can check us out at thescoreboardnation.com. We'll see you at the next one.